You know how stressful it is when guidance systems go down. You lose field time. You lose yield potential. You lose patience. Help is here. Raven Cruiser 2 RTK with Slingshot. Precision simplified. Learn more at ravensimple.com.
Our weed of the week is Venice Mallow. Darren, it's a major problem in your area. First of all, how do you identify this thing when it's small? Because it does kind of look like several other weeds.
Well, a lot of times guys will think, oh, you know, it kind of looks like a velvet leaf.
Yep.
But
right.
what happens with Venice Mallow is you'll get one of the early leaves will have lobes on it. So you'll kind of see that typical Venice Mallow leaf will actually start very early in the season. So you can start right at the cotyledon stage, and you can tell the difference between Venice Mallow and other weeds like velvet leaf. Either way, you've got to control these broadleaf weeds early because you're going to have a lot of growing points. As broadleaf weeds grow, they continue to get more and more growing points and become more difficult to control. When you have a crop like corn or wheat, a grass crop, we can control the broadleaf weeds very easily with Venice Mallow. We can control them with many of the pre-emerge herbicides are actually pretty good, especially if you're using a combination product like a Sure Start or a Triple Flex. Yeah. I like them. They've got some Python in there and some Stinger. Both of those products have activity on Venice Mallow.
Okay, but you were talking about wheat and corn. We got to separate those two things. Sure Start, Triple Flex, those are for corn only. Same thing with Balance Flex. Balance Flex has activity, so use that product in states where it's labeled. Now Sharpen is going to have some activity as well. Sharpen actually could be used in both corn and wheat, but again, you've got some pre-emerge options. Post-emerge though, it's also easy to control.
It is. In corn, again, we're typically spraying early. Same thing in wheat. We're typically spraying early in the season, so those Venice Mallow are just a couple inches tall. We can wipe them out. My favorite choice has been Status in corn, Lotus, Callisto Impact. They're good products. In wheat, we do a nice job with either Wide Match or Huskie, both very effective products, and you can use some of the SUs as well.
Do you really think Wide Match is that great? I personally don't think Wide Match is that fantastic. I'd want to put some combination product together. I think Huskie's a lot better choice in wheat.
I agree. Typically, we're mixing a combo with Wide Match. Then you look at soybeans. So here's where we have the challenge. You have to start with a good pre. You use Authority Assist, Authority First, or Authority MTZ. All are pretty decent on Venice Mallow.
How about Python pre-emerge?
Well, Python's okay too. It costs more money, and that's the challenge with Python. You can get it cheap in corn, but in soybeans, you've got to actually pay for the Python. It's not in the combo products anymore, at least readily available
Okay,
ones.
and then how about post-emerge in soybeans? What's your best recommendation?
Well, I like Flexstar. A lot of times I'll mix that with a FirstRate or with a Pursuit. Both have some activity on Venice Mallow if it's like an inch tall or something, but with the Flexstar in there, we can bring down ones that are maybe 3 or 4 inches tall.
What do you think about old Basagran?
Well, Basagran's pretty good on it too. It's really expensive, and that's been the problem with Basagran. They've never come down in price since we had conventional soybeans. And at that time, you know what? If we spent 10 or 15 bucks for Basagran, it was a good deal. But if we're gonna have to spend 15 or maybe even 20 bucks for Basagran now,
when everything else is cheap,
they're gonna have to use it in other crops.
Yeah, well, once again, our weed of the week is Venice Mallow. It's not that difficult to control, but you've got to start early. Use something pre-emerge in whatever crop you're planting and control it when it's small. If you let it get big, it gets to be a lot tougher problem.
That's all the time we have for our weed of the week, but there's more Ag PhD to come after this.